Thank you for joining For Our Special Kids, where we openly and honestly discuss the magic and the mess of raising a child with special needs. We are thrilled to have you here and hope this time provides you with some wonder and wisdom. I'm your host, Jennifer Lansing. Let's get started. Kristin Kozlowski joins me again today to talk about color striping our kids. That's a new one I hadn't heard of, but I'm excited to share this really simple technique with you today. Kristin joined us before on an April 21st episode of 2022, where we talked about the angel poems that she wrote for Teal and me. It's a really fun episode, so check that out if you want to learn a little bit more about Kristin and what she's doing in this world. So just to note, after we stopped recording, she kept sharing ways to use the color striping technique. So she even described what she calls spot treating, which is where you focus on one area and you ask that area what color it needs. So fascinating. She also told me this technique is great for growing pains in our kids, headaches, including migraines, which we know are so hard to treat, and motion sickness. So after the recording last night, I tried it with Teal, and you're never going to believe this. Okay, so she was extremely hyper going to bed, like a bit too hyper, like when you're just a little worried that energy is not going to calm down quick enough. Okay, I'm not even kidding you. 3 seconds after I started this technique, she was sound asleep. I was actually a little worried because it happened so fast. She was out cold. So anyways, we'll be using that more in the future. There you have it. I hope you enjoy and let me know what you think. I am with Kristin Kozlowski. She has been on the podcast before and did an angel poem reading for me and Teal. And then we talked about the differences. It was really, really fun. If you haven't listened to that episode, go back and check it out. Highly recommend it. Angel poems. And you still do some angel poems for people, Kristin. So if you ever want one, go onto her website.
Yeah, absolutely.
And there's all sorts of other things that you offer. But today, by the way, welcome.
Hello.
Hello, friend. So I'm in a Thursday night group with Kristin and a couple of our other friends, and someone sent me a message that said, hey, you need to get Kristin on and have her talk about colors and kids. So now that's really all I've got for this. I haven't done any research. I don't even know where this is going to go. So let's have a good time. Let's not talk science. Both of us have had quite a day. So this is just nice to get to see your lovely face and find out what's going on in your world. And then also just talk to me about colors.
Well, thank you. Thank you for having me.
Yeah,
there was a Thursday, you weren't there, but a bunch of us were talking, and a mutual friend of ours was just having a day with her kids. She was like, they're being extra sassy this week. They're given pushback on chores, stuff, I guess. But it was too much for her at that time, right? Too many things going on. And she said, kind of in frustration, how do you get it to stop?
Yeah. How do you get it to stop?
Yes. And I said, well, I color stripe my kids.
I color stripe my kids. Is that what you said?
That's exactly what I said.
Okay. Deep breath, everyone. We're going to learn how to color stripe our children. Okay. So what is that?
So that's a really simple way of changing a person's energy patterns. So if you're having trouble with your energy patterns, or your kids are having trouble, you can, of course, go to an energy worker, right? A Reiki practitioner, a bioenergy practitioner, somebody. But you can also just try to change that yourself using colors. Because what are colors? Colors are wavelengths of light.
Light, yeah.
Is movement. So color striping is a very gentle way of changing a person's energy field and energy pattern. And so you can do it with any child, anytime, day or night. And really, for me, it just depends on my child. Sometimes the kid themselves, sometimes the age that they're at, because some kids are very into this sort of thing and some kids really aren't. And the older they get, sometimes they'll move into these ages where they're not so into what mom wants them to do. Color striping is just a situation where you look at your child. I do it a lot while my kids are sleeping, so they don't even know I do it.
Nice.
But you look at your child or you imagine them in your mind's eye, whatever works for you. And you just imagine all of the colors of the rainbow going through your child from head to toe, one by one. Okay.
Okay.
So you start with red
Mm-hmm.
and you go red, orange, yellow, green, blue, indigo, violet. But what I do is I imagine that in my hand is a glass or a vase or a cup of red light. And I start from above their head. That's really important. Go from above, not right on top, but above their head.
Okay.
And I just imagine that I'm pouring it right into their head, right? And they could be laying down when this happens. The clients that I see on my table, I do this a lot during Reiki sessions, they're laying down 99% of them. It doesn't matter, but you're going to pour it from above their head and you're going to imagine the most brilliant red light going around your child and through your child, right? So it's going into their head and around their head, all 360 degrees. It's going to wait for that light to trickle through. It's going to go down their face, down their neck, their shoulders, their arms, all the way till it goes out of their feet. And that's another important thing. Make sure it goes all the way out of their feet. Don't stop at their feet. When the red is done, you take another glass filled with orange, you put it in the top of their head, and you let orange go all the way through their body. And you do that all the way through the colors of the rainbow, through violet, and let violet go all the way through their bodies. Now, some colors are going to move very fast.
That's what I was going to ask you. Okay.
Oh, yeah, you're good.
Ooh.
It really is going to depend on the child and what is going on with the child. So sometimes they really need to absorb that color frequency. And so that light is going to move a lot slower, or that color is going to be pushing energy out of them that they don't need. So it might slow down the process. Then other colors might move very quick. And you can spend a lot of time writing that down or trying to analyze it and see what it means for your kids. If that's your thing, go ahead. But I just kind of go with it because we don't live in bubbles. And so our energy field is impacted by many things throughout the day. And so trying to figure out all the nuances every single day, it's not something I do, but you're welcome to do it. You know, it can give you insight sometimes into your kid. So if your kid is really suffering from something specific you're trying to nail down, it might give you a starting point for something. But otherwise, I just let it go as it is. And we go all the way through the colors of the rainbow. And that's color striping. And the idea is that if there's any energy in their body that has gotten stuck, those color frequencies are going to come, dislodge that energy, and let it travel to where it needs to go. Make sense?
Yeah. So is it related to the chakras as well?
Yes, absolutely. Now, the thing about chakras, you know, we relate them to different areas, the main chakras of the body. We relate to different areas, different colors, right? But the important thing to remember about energy is that it's always in motion. So it's not like your third eye is this brilliant indigo color. It's not like it just stays in your third eye, right? That energy moves and it goes forward and backwards. It goes up and down. It goes left and right. So I like to describe it when I describe it to my clients for them to do self-care at home or to do self-care on their children. I like to describe it in terms of rainbow because people don't get so caught up in this energy should be orange. They start allowing their body to listen intuitively to what they're feeling or what their children's body is sort of telling them. Does that make sense?
Oh, so like when we're taught to ground and then open up our chakras, I go to that location in my mind's eye and say, okay, why do I not have a bright red rose here? Or why is my orange poppy not popping out? Right. Like I often do flowers, but, or crystals, or just even a color, like even just a rotating ball of light. I will struggle if I don't see it right away, but you're absolutely correct. You don't have to do it that way. You could do it like what you're talking about before meditation, just pour the colors through you. It's how people say do the a chakra shower, kind of like that concept where you are in the shower and then you imagine the water being the color of the chakra colors. Yes?
Absolutely, absolutely. But you can do that for your children, and you don't have
Right.
to put them in the shower.
Right. You don't have to get them wet, especially when they're sleeping. Nobody likes to be thrown into a shower after they've been sleeping.
Yes, I had one child that hated the bath, hated
Oh,
water.
oh,
Yeah, that would have been terrible for her
terrible,
as
terrible
a
for her.
small child.
Oh my God. That's so funny. Okay. So what you're saying is kind of like, it's a way for you to proactively or retroactively, truthfully, help your children find an energetic balance without requiring them to really do anything.
Yes, and it's easy on them. It's
Right.
easy on you. You don't need extensive training for it. And honestly, let's be honest with kids. Okay, some kids are verbal, some are nonverbal, some are verbal-ish, like Teal, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
But even if your kid is verbal, even if you yourself are verbal, how often do you know what is affecting your energy patterns? We're just not, you laugh because we're not super in tune with that,
Right.
right? We're not taught as a society to be in tune with that. We don't teach our kids to be in tune with that. We try as hard as we can, some of us, right?
Right.
But I have, for instance, I have one child who was always and is still, she's very affected by sound, by noise.
Mm.
So, for instance, if an ambulance or a fire truck buzzes past our house or
Yeah.
her school or us in the car, you can see that she is physically affected by the blaring lights, the siren, the horn. She cannot handle that very well. I have another kid who's like cheering it on. He loves it.
Right.
But
Right.
she is sensitive to sound. She has always been sensitive to sound. And so for her, her energy pattern is greatly affected when that happens. So
Hmm.
if she's sitting in a car and an ambulance or a fire truck goes blaring by, in an emergency situation with all these sounds, wherever her energy pattern is at that time, there are going to be parts of it that are going to get stuck. They just are. And that happens. You're sensitive to sound, you're sensitive to light, you get a bad phone call, you stub your toe. All these things happen during our daily lives, which can result in energy being minimally stuck someplace.
Hmm.
But what you want is to get that energy moving again. You want it to get back linked up where it needs to go and continue on its way, right? You think of your energy system as a train. You want it to be constantly moving. But if a package falls off the train, you need to go put it back. That's what color striping can help you do. So she might not, even though she's verbal, she might not be able to tell me if I see her after work and she's visibly agitated. And I might try to get to the bottom of it. What's going on? What happened at school? You might, as a
Right.
parent, we try to
Yes.
kind of solve these problems for our kids and help them navigate. But sometimes she might not know. An ambulance went past my school at 10 a.m. and now at 10 p.m. I'm in a bad mood at my sibling because this thing happened 12 hours ago. Very few
Sure.
people are that subjective with them. So
Hmm.
that's a way that you can just say, hey, clearly something has affected your energy pattern today. Let's just address this so you can wake up tomorrow and go on your way, right?
Or sleep better.
Or sleep better. There you go.
Yeah. Oh, I
Yeah.
love it. Such a tangible example. Oh, I love it. And I'm thinking of children with autism or attention deficit. I mean, whoa, they're
Hmm.
highly sensitive. And you just being able to say, as a mom or a dad, okay, we're going to go to sleep and I'm going to color stripe you and you're going to wake up. It's going to be great. I mean, I'm a fan of telling kids what you're doing, but
Sure.
you don't even need to. It's not like you have to ask, well, they're your kids. I guess you can manage that conversation however you want to manage that conversation. Okay. So this is fascinating and very simple. On average, Kristin, how long does it take? Now, again, I know if red gets stuck and takes 30 seconds to get out, or would that be fast? I know it's really tricky to answer that question.
I mean, because it's so different for everyone, but I wouldn't say it takes more than 5 minutes. I
Okay.
mean, it's generally a few minutes really to go through the system. Yeah.
And if Teal were laying on me, so let's say she falls asleep on me,
Okay.
I could just visualize the cup of red. And then I could maybe just visualize her standing up. Like that's kind of what you're saying is pour it over her and through her.
Yeah, you could, but I
Okay.
don't. I mean, I
Oh,
just, if they're laying, I mean, that light's just going to go. I mean, think about a
yeah.
flashlight. That light can go in any direction. It doesn't need gravity.
Okay.
Because I use the pouring imagery, I think some people feel like they need that sort of
So true.
gravity
Yeah.
imagery. And if you want to say you have a flashlight of light and you flick it on and it's red, you flick it on, that's fine. It doesn't need to
Hmm.
come out of a cup. I just learned it that way, and that's just my go-to imagery for it. But yeah, you can do it while she's laying on you. You could do it around both of you and just color stripe both of you at the same time if you wanted to.
You just got in my head. I was like, oh my God, I could use the color striping so we could just do it together. Ooh, I like it. We'll have to do that tonight. Very cool. Anything else that we should know about that? Is there any cleansing that you have to do after or before, or it's just more that simple?
Oh no, it's just that simple.
I
Yeah,
love it.
you're just looking at it as anything, any energy that's stuck in their energy system, their auric field, their energy patterns. You're just looking to dislodge it and have it rejoin the energy train. Yeah, that's all. So there's not much you need to do at all to prepare.
Easy peasy.
Yeah,
Thank you so much for sharing a quick little tip with us.
you're welcome.
I really appreciate it. That was really fun and easy. And I'm going to try it tonight with my little teal. I'll let you know.
Absolutely.
Thanks, Kristin. And people can find you at thehealerstone.com.
Com. And it's not the, so it's www.healersstone, that's two S's, healersstone.com.
Thank you for that clarification. And I
You're
know
welcome.
you've been doing a ton of videos on your Facebook and Instagram, and you're writing books and you're doing all sorts of incredible things. Just go check Kristin's work out. It's really phenomenal and fun, and a variety of different things.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you so much, Kristin. Have a good day. Thank you so much for joining us today. I hope you found one or two meaningful nuggets of information to make your day better. If you think there's value in what we do, please take a moment to tell another friend, family member, or a caregiver. We'd love to hear from you at forourspecialkids@gmail.com. You can send in a question, a comment, a topic that you'd like to learn more about, or if you'd like us to highlight a certain person, please send that information to us. It makes our show so much better and so much more valuable for you. Our Facebook and Instagram handle is For Our Special Kids. And finally, remember to witness the wonder and the wisdom within yourself and others. Until next time.